Karoo is the area that you drive through if you head out north from Cape Town and sort of head out northeast, up north towards Gauteng. And it is filled with quintessential South African quirks and history and people and interesting things to explore. So you get the plain Karoo, which is the small one, and then the big Karoo. We're heading towards Oudtshoorn. There is a festival about to take place with one of the many languages of South Africa as its key focus, and that language is Afrikaans. But en route, we thought we'd go and play along the route of Karoo. And our first stop is in this beautiful little town of Prince Albert, and they call it the threshold of the Karoo, and it's also known as something of a front hook in the Karoo because it is so beautiful. But to me, this is history surrounded by the arid beauty of this desert town. Once upon a time, this beautiful little town, little village I suppose it is, used to be just a farm. In about the middle of the 18th century, in the 1750s, it was a farm called Khoi Valley with a Q. And over time, it kind of evolved and was eventually given the rather grand name Prince Albert in honor of Queen Victoria's consort. Now, Queen Victoria's consort didn't come to the country until quite a bit later, but a lot of towns were renamed in honor of that particular British monarch. What is it today? It's an absolute melting pot of all the cultures, all the languages, all the colors of South Africa, except that Prince Albert itself has grown a little bit, being as it is on the threshold to the Karoo. And it's filled with history and restaurants and exquisite gardens. And it's quite astonishing to see what this tiny little Karoo town has become in terms of tourism in South Africa. There are a lot of things you expect to see in the Karoo, but they're kind of more in keeping with biltong and homemade jam and crocheted tablecloths and things like that. But in the middle of the Karoo, in the middle of this little town called Prince Albert, there's this extraordinary theatre called the Showroom in Art Deco style that is honestly state of the art. Didn't see that one coming. One of the big tourist attractions of this area, keeping in mind that we are now near Oudtshoorn, which is right in the Karoo, is this, the Cango Caves. And millions of people come here literally every year to come and have a look at it. There are several chambers, and this is chamber 2 that we're working through. And apparently it goes about 6 kilometers deep. And as our guide has just told us, they haven't yet discovered the exit. So I think we might be going a different way out. But it's absolutely beautiful with its stalagmites and its stalactites. That's the 1-hour tour for, dare I say it, Geri-Antics and others. And here's the adventure tour. This is a warning of how tiny some of the entrance places are in the cave. What do you think? Do we do it or don't we go that far? Our journey through the Karoo has brought us to what is surely the biggest town in the Karoo area, and it's certainly the most well-known, Oudtshoorn. And in the middle of Oudtshoorn, If you come at about this time of the year, which is normally kind of the period of March, April, you will always find the town looking and sounding like this because it's the KKNK time of the year. Actually, I can't call it that. It's KKNK because this is an Afrikaans festival. And the KKNK basically stands for Klein Karoo Nationale Kunstfeest, which in English would be an art and theatre festival of note. It's been going on since around about the middle of the 1990s, and it is a sheer celebration of the language of Afrikaans through the medium of art, theatre, music, dance, and everything attributed to it. You get all colours, all races, but Afrikaans is what's key in this incredible festival. Need to do a segue because we spoke about Afrikaans and this being an Afrikaans festival, but what is Afrikaans? There are 11 official languages in South Africa, one of them being Afrikaans. And interestingly, this one only was declared as one of the national languages as recently as 1925. That's very recent. Where does it come from? Well, I guess it comes originally from Dutch. When Van Riebeeck and crew settled in the country, it came from that Dutch language. But it evolved and evolved and evolved, and you had German and Khoisan and all the different other dialects and languages of the country, which kind of became part of what is today the Afrikaans language that is spoken by millions of people, but not much outside the borders of South Africa. Probably the best thing about attending the KKNK, or KKNK, are the people that you meet, because it's not your regular sort of people. It is people who are salt of the earth, wonderfully warm, 90% Afrikaans, and then you get incredible artists like Steve Strauss, who comes from mainly KwaZulu-Natal, but I believe comes up to the KKNK. Steve, wat is so spesiaal van die KKNK?
Ek doen die KK seker al so 5 jaar en sy mense om elke keer hier te wees, mense om te ontmoet en jou kunswerke aan hulle te verkoop.
Ons sien is uit 'n groot voet. Dis 'n 12 en ek weet nie of dit maar jy het die 13?
Ek het die 13 jaar, ek het die 13 en ek het die 14.
'n 14. Okay, dis baie groot. KKNK, and you simply cannot say KKNK. You've got to say KKNK because this is an Afrikaans language festival. But you meet so many people, authentic people. We still have famous.
Well, I'm famous in a very small pond in the Afrikaans market. I'm on TV, and so is my colleague. We've got a stall together. And yeah, so we decided to come and do this.
He's very famous. This is Reinhold Slabbert, and he's on the Cape Net, which again, you have to speak Afrikaans to be able to watch the program. But what he's doing here at the festival is jam.
Yes. The first thing, I did an interview because my show with Elsabe, and they were making all these cakes, and I said, let's take hands and let's do something together. So this Christmas we made up a little pocky for Christmas, and it sold so well. So now we're doing the festivals. Elsabe is actually doing 2 shows at the festival, and I'm also doing MC gigs, but in between we've got this amazing store, and there's a tomato, rosemary and chili jam, and she's making cakes and I want to say biscuit, but I don't know if everyone is going to... Yeah, biscotti. So, and it's no preservatives at all.
So when you need a helping hand as somebody very well known in things, you go and get your best friend who's also very, very well known, and you create this on the show, and you get noticed. Yes. Then you sell much jam.
And it's so wonderful to be here in the Karoo. There's something about touring in the Karoo with just when you drive in, it's like all your stress just disappears. And they say that's one of the town in South Africa with the freshest air. And there's something to be said about that. When you're here, you feel it, the heat and the warmth of the people. Well, that's the best.
So breathe it in. Breathe it in.
Yeah. Take an empty bottle, scoop some air, and take it home.
Thanks, Ryan.
Was 'n aand lank gelede, omtrent 8 maande na sy geboorte, dink ek.
Klop deur die vensters boer en dromend luister na die lied van elke troubadour.
I can't wait to see you. Yay! Amazing. That's been You don't come through to the Karoo without stopping for at least a night, if not longer, in Oudtshoorn. It is the central town of the whole area. And Oudtshoorn has lots and lots to offer, but one of the big attractions are these guys, the ostrich. For back in the heyday, this is what put Oudtshoorn onto the map. It started as a farm in the 1800s, but by the time it got through a little bit later in history, named after Baron Pieter van Reede Oudtshoorn, what really made it take off was the fact that we had ostriches here. And it was the 1800s, and it was the heyday of feathers in fashion attire, something that continued into World War I. As a result of that fashion, Oudtshoorn became the absolute center of ostrich plumes, and as a result, a tourist place, an economic giant, and still today, a place that people come to visit to see the ostriches and their feathers.
Tell you all about what we do on the farm. Tell you the incubator. We have about 20 days old babies. You see how quick they grow from 20 days to 6 months.
This is the last of the season of babies, and apparently were rescued because they need sort of assistance from human beings. Some of them were born with splayed legs and are not able to run, but then they go into the big incubator area and apparently and allegedly live their lives fully. They come out being able to run and do those delicious and vicious kicks that ostrich is known for. So this is one of the lucky babies that have been rescued. In the heyday of the 1800s, it actually stretched right as far as World War I. These things were worth an absolute fortune. They were as precious as gold and diamonds. And in fact, during that time, a kilogram of good feathers would cost the same as a kilogram of gold.
Guys, when you go to the elephants, you can talk to each other and understand each other. That's the main reason why we are using English language. But they do understand our local language like the Xhosa, Zulu, Ndebele, and Afrikaans as well. Like I said, it's about 5 languages. Because elephants are very smart animals and they are very, very intelligent animals. They've got a good memory, they've got a big brain, and the weight of the brain is about 4.5 kilograms. Yeah? That is why it's very, very important to respect the elephant. If you don't respect them, they will never ever respect you.
Look at the camera. Trunk up, lift your hand up. In his mouth.
In his mouth?
Feel the tongue. Feel the tongue.
Goodness.
Another one, trunk up.
Up there.
There we go.
Everything's done. The last one says we're just fitting into the elevator.
There are many strange stories and colourful characters, apparently, that abound not just in the Karoo, but along Route 62, which connects Cape Town to Oudtshoorn and further and beyond and up into the north. But one of the well-known ones is Ronnie's sex shop, where allegedly he started out life selling veggies on the side of the road. His friend, with obviously a big sense of humour, decided there wasn't enough business coming in, so he got a big pot of paint and put the word sex into the name Ronnie's shop. And according to legend, people arrived. People started coming to see this curiosity. Ronnie, obviously with a sense of business, started serving them beers and eventually opened up a pub. And now it is a big pit stop on Route 62, all because you had a friend with a sense of humour.